All right, we're on to album number 2 of Stone Temple Pilots, Purple. What's going on, ladies and gents in Cyberland? Coming back to you with another album review. This time we're on to Stone Temple Pilots' second album. Purple. So, as I said in my first video with the album reviews for this band, the first actual song I heard by them was Big Empty. It was on the Crow movie, the late Brandon Lee. And I was like, okay, I didn't hear the whole song. And then at some point I think I bought the soundtrack and I think I lost it. I don't think I have it anymore. I think one of the first times I lost an album. And heard it there. Was cool with it. It wasn't like, oh, I really love this song, because at the time when I heard it, that wasn't the bands I was wanting to hear when I had that album. And years later, it's a classic song. And when I got around to listening to Purple, I felt that I felt that the music was a little psychedelic, and it still had the grunginess of the first album, but it was they were already starting to move away from that, which was fine. And you still had elements of the first album, but it was becoming a lot more alternative rock as opposed to grunge, which is totally fine. Interstate Love Song was showing that. Big Empty was showing that. I would also say Vaseline. Definitely Vaseline was showing that. Meat Plow as well. Even Meat Plow, the way Meat Plow starts out as opposed to what Dead and Bloated did, you can tell already there's something different. There wasn't anything I didn't like on this album. Also, I just realized my last review for Stone Temple Pilots, I didn't give my top 10 or top 5 and my rating. First album's 10 out of 10, yes sirs. Also, my top 5 tracks for the first album were Piece of Pie, Plush, and then I would say Sex Type Thing, Creep, and Naked Sunday. So if anybody's watching the first video, I forgot to put that in there. It's been so long since I've done an album review, technically. So anyway, with Purple, I get also a 10 out of 10 yes sirs. The first 2 albums are classics to me. I think though it was kind of weird at the end of the album is the way I was like, is this Scott singing? But it sounded like he was on a game show or something. The way he was singing at the end, it was just totally like out of left field. Just weird. Top 5 tracks for this album was what was it? Amy Ants, Big Empty, Still Remains, Interstate Love Song, and Silvergun Superman. Honorable mention, I would say Meat Plow, because at first I was like, but the more I play my guitar and the more I think about how that song is being played on the instrument, it just really it was a tough choice between picking that and Silvergun Superman. But I love the groove of Silvergun Superman more so that's why I went with that. I know a lot of people are going to say either No Vaseline or Interstate Love Song. But for me, No Vaseline is cool. It's not a throwaway track of any means. It's just I like these 5 tracks more. And it's funny, too, because the third track, I forget the title of it at this moment. It just escapes me. It's probably the weird... You know what? Let's just look it up. Shit. Let me just look it up, because might as well just tell you a little history behind that intro. It's kind of funny that I would always hear this, and I never, you know, you don't know what you don't know. Loungefly. So, every so often when I was watching MTV and they would do the news thing or something of those lines, you would hear this, you would hear this thing in the background. And you would be like, what the hell is this? And I would hear it. And now, after all these years when I finally did sit down and listen to Purple, they took the clip from the very beginning of Loungefly and they would use it for their excerpt in MTV Music News. It was just like, what? It was right before Kurt Loder or the other guys would start talking about music news. It was like, oh, okay. As far as overall, album was good. I don't like Purple better than Core, but I still think it's a solid 10. I think it was like, this is, to me, the peak of the band. And I don't want to say they couldn't do any better. I would just say, they were just moving on all cylinders. And I don't think after this album they really should have tried to make anything similar to Core or Purple. I do think elements of Core and Purple you can still incorporate, like the heaviness, but, you know, good to just not make a third album of this. Just continue in another direction. So if you heard Core, this is a great follow-up to it. I love it. Again, not my favorite album, but I still love it. However, if you go into the band's history, this is the beginning, or I don't know if it was right before the album, but Scott is already going to start having problems, and it does take a toll on the band and their dynamic and such, but we'll kind of get into that again moving forward with the albums and stuff. So with that being said, just cue the music.